The sun hung high in the sky over New Haven, a vibrant city bustling with life. Children laughed and played in the parks while street vendors shouted their wares, filling the air with the delicious aroma of street food. Everything felt normal, but that was about to change. As the day went on, an unsettling quiet began to settle over the city, a feeling that something was very wrong. Suddenly, the tranquility shattered. A shadow fell over New Haven as a massive alien fleet, hidden by advanced cloaking technology, pierced through the clouds. Giant starships, shaped like monstrous metallic fish, emerged from the upper atmosphere, their sleek dark bodies reflecting the sunlight in a way that was both beautiful and terrifying. People stopped in their tracks, eyes wide with disbelief as they pointed at the sky. Panic erupted in an instant. "Look, what is that?" A woman screamed, clutching her child to her chest. Others joined in, their voices rising in a chaotic chorus of confusion and fear. The sirens began to wail, piercing the air with an urgent warning. Red lights flashed on street corners, illuminating the growing panic as citizens turned and ran in every direction, desperate to escape the impending doom. Amid the chaos stood Bonner, a young soldier fresh from a distant mission. His uniform still bore the dust of far-off planets, but there was no time for him to rest. Bonner's heart raced as he took in the scene unfolding around him. The memories of his friends who had fallen in battle weighed heavily on him. He had faced death before, but now it felt different. Now it was personal. Bonner pushed through the crowd, his mind racing with thoughts of what this invasion meant. He knew the stories of the alien race, how they were known for their ruthlessness, conquering entire worlds without a second thought. As he reached a high ground, he could see the massive ships blocking out the sun, casting long shadows over the city. It was a sight that would haunt him forever. As Bonner stood there, he couldn't help but remember his last mission. His squad had been sent to investigate strange energy readings on a nearby planet. They had discovered a technology beyond their understanding, remnants of a civilization long lost. He had promised himself he would return home, that he would protect his city and the people he loved. But now it felt like a distant dream as he watched the alien fleet descend. In the distance, he could hear the muffled sounds of explosions, the deep rumble of destruction. Buildings crumbled as panic spread like wildfire. The once bustling streets of New Haven were now filled with terrified screams. Bonner's instincts kicked in. He couldn't just stand there and watch as his home was torn apart. He had to do something. He had to fight back. Bonner's thoughts shifted to his family, his younger sister, Sarah, who looked up to him with admiration, and his mother, who had always worried about him. They were out there somewhere, caught in the chaos, and he needed to find them. He felt a surge of determination, a fire igniting in his chest. He wouldn't let fear control him. He wouldn't let the aliens take what was his. With a deep breath, Bonner pushed forward, cutting through the crowd. He spotted a small group of soldiers gathered near a command center, trying to organize a defense. "We need to fight back," Bonner shouted as he approached them, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "We can't let them destroy our city. We need to protect our people." The soldiers turned to him, eyes wide with uncertainty. Many had never seen combat against such a powerful enemy, but Bonner's resolve was contagious. One by one they began to nod, their fear shifting to a sense of purpose. They were soldiers after all. They had sworn to protect their home. As they gathered around Bonner, he could see the determination in their eyes. Together they would stand against the invasion. They would fight for New Haven, for their families, and for the fallen comrades who had sacrificed everything. The fear that had gripped the city was now igniting a fire of courage within them. The air crackled with tension as the ground shook from the alien ship's landing. Bonner looked back at the darkening sky, then at the faces of his fellow soldiers. They were ready to face the terror that threatened their world. And with that thought, he stepped forward, leading the charge into the unknown, determined to fight for his city and the people he loved. The battle for New Haven was about to begin, and Bonner would not let fear dictate their fate. As the alien ships unleashed their fury upon New Haven, chaos reigned. Bright beams of energy shot down from the hovering vessels, striking buildings and sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air. The once bustling city was now a scene of destruction. People screamed as they fled for safety, but amidst the fear, one man stood resolute: Bonner. Determined to protect his home, Bonner sprinted toward the makeshift command center where a group of soldiers had gathered. They looked scared, uncertain of how to fight back against such advanced technology. Bonner knew they needed a leader, someone to inspire courage in the face of terror. "We can't just sit here and wait to be destroyed!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the panic. "We need to fight back!" A brilliant scientist named Dr. Alara stepped forward. She had worked on advanced tech for the military and understood the alien ships better than anyone. "I have an idea," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with determination. "If we can disrupt their communications, we can weaken their coordination." Beside her stood Marcus, a skilled engineer who was known for his resourcefulness. He nodded vigorously, adding, "I can rig some old tech to create an EMP blast. It might give us the edge we need." Bonner felt a surge of hope as he listened to their plans. The team was coming together, each person bringing their strengths to the fight. They quickly set to work, gathering supplies and weapons. They used everything they could find: pipes, metal scraps, anything that could serve as a weapon. As the sounds of destruction echoed outside, the humans prepared for their counterattack. Bonner felt a mix of fear and excitement. They were fighting back. When the alien drones began to swarm around the command center, the team was ready. The drones, sleek and menacing, hovered in the air, scanning for signs of resistance. Bonner and his group took cover, hearts racing. "On my signal," Bonner instructed, gripping a makeshift weapon tightly. As the first drone came into view, Bonner shouted, "Now!" The humans sprang into action, launching their improvised weapons with surprising accuracy. They fought with determination, fending off the alien attackers as the chaos intensified. The command center became a battleground, filled with the sounds of clanging metal and laser fire. Dr. Alara worked frantically to implement her plan, while Marcus set up the EMP device. "Cover me!" he shouted as he crouched behind a wall, focusing on the device. The teamwork was seamless. They moved as one unit, their fear replaced by courage and resolve. Bonner led the charge, taking down one drone after another, showcasing their bravery and quick thinking. The fight was intense and chaotic, but with each victory their spirits lifted. They were no longer just frightened civilians, they had become fighters, defenders of their city. As they pushed back against the alien threat, Bonner realized they were truly stronger together. The bonds they forged in battle transformed fear into courage, and they began to believe they could turn the tide. With renewed energy, they prepared for the next wave of the alien assault, ready to stand firm against the terror gripping their world. The battle had only just begun, but Bonner knew they would fight with everything they had to protect their home. With the chaos of the initial defense behind them, Bonner and his group prepared for their first counterattack against the invading aliens. They had gathered intelligence that a smaller alien ship had landed nearby, intending to deploy troops to overwhelm the city. The weight of his fallen comrades pressed heavily on Bonner's heart, fueling his determination. He knew this was their chance to strike back and show the aliens that humans would not go down without a fight. "Gather up!" Bonner shouted, rallying his team. "We need to take out that ship before it releases more troops. This is our moment to push back!" He could see the fear in some of their eyes, but he also saw something else: resolve. They were all fighting for the same reason: family, friends, and a future free from alien oppression. As they approached the alien vessel, a sleek, dark ship that shimmered in the light, Bonner's heart raced. The ship was surrounded by alien soldiers, their advanced weapons glinting menacingly. But Bonner and his team had a plan. They had gathered makeshift explosives and weapons, ready to use their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. With a deep breath, Bonner led the charge. The humans burst forward, using the cover of nearby buildings to shield themselves from the alien troops. Just as they neared the ship, the aliens activated their cloaking devices, making it difficult to see their movements. But Bonner had prepared for this. He shouted, "Stay close and watch for their movements. We can't let them outsmart us!" The first shots rang out as Bonner's team engaged the alien soldiers. Explosions rocked the area, and laser beams zipped through the air. Bonner felt the adrenaline surge through him, pushing him to fight harder. He darted around corners, using the buildings as shields, and returned fire whenever he had the chance. Suddenly, an AI-driven turret activated on the alien ship, its sensors locking onto Bonner's team. "Take cover!" he yelled, as the turret unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. The team ducked behind a wall, their hearts racing. Bonner knew they had to disable the turret quickly. We need to create a distraction. Marcus, can you take it down? Marcus nodded, grabbing one of the improvised explosives. I'll need a clear shot, he shouted back. Bonner quickly rallied a few soldiers to create a diversion. They charged at the turret, drawing its fire while Marcus positioned himself for a clean hit. Just as Marcus prepared to launch the explosive, an alien soldier burst from the ship, catching Bonner's friend, Evan, off guard. The two exchanged fire, but Evan was hit, falling to the ground. Bonner's heart sank as he heard Evan's pained cry. "No! Evan!" he shouted, pushing forward to help his friend. The emotional weight of the moment hit Bonner hard. This was not just a battle. It was personal. With a surge of determination, Bonner pressed on, channeling his anger and fear into his actions. "We're not losing anyone else," he vowed, charging at the alien soldier with renewed ferocity. Bonner managed to take down the enemy, but the sight of Evan lying injured stayed with him, adding a deeper emotional layer to their struggle. As the chaos continued, Marcus launched the explosive and it struck the turret, disabling it in a shower of sparks. The humans cheered, but Bonner's heart was heavy with worry for Evan. He knew that the battle was far from over, but this moment had shown him that they could fight back against the invaders. Together they were strong, and Bonner vowed to protect his friends at all costs, no matter the challenges they faced ahead. The first counterattack had been successful, but at what cost? The fight for their city was just beginning, and Bonner was ready to lead his team through whatever darkness lay ahead. As the dust settled from the fierce battle, Bonner's team took a moment to regroup. They had suffered losses, and Evan was still recovering from his injury, but they had also achieved something significant. While scavenging through the wreckage of the alien ship, they stumbled upon a piece of advanced technology, a small device that seemed to pulse with energy. When they activated it, the screen flickered to life, displaying a series of encrypted data and schematics. Dr. Alara examined the device closely. "This is incredible! It's a data core from the alien ship," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. "Look at this!" It shows their reliance on AI systems for their operations. If we can disrupt these systems, we might gain the upper hand. The team's mood shifted as they realized the potential of this discovery. If they could disable the aliens' AI, they could weaken the enemy's coordination and combat capabilities. Bonner felt a glimmer of hope ignite within him. "This could turn the tide of the war," he declared. "We need to find a way to infiltrate their mothership and take out their main AI control center." The group gathered around a table, poring over the data and schematics. They crafted a bold plan to sneak into the heart of the alien vessel, a massive ship floating ominously above the city. Bonner outlined their strategy, ensuring everyone understood their roles. "We'll need to move quietly and quickly. We can use the cloaking technology we've salvaged to mask our presence as we navigate their defenses." As they prepared for their mission, the tension in the air was palpable. Bonner could feel the weight of their task. Failure meant capture or death. The plan required perfect execution, and any mistake could cost them dearly. The team shared nervous glances, but Bonner encouraged them. "We're fighting for our homes, our families, and each other. We can't let fear hold us back." With determination in their hearts, they set out towards the alien mothership under the cover of night. As they approached, Bonner activated the cloaking device, causing their forms to shimmer and fade from sight. They moved as a unit, navigating through the shadows cast by the towering ship. The closer they got, the more the stakes intensified. They could hear the distant hum of alien technology and the soft chatter of guards, heightening the suspense. Every step was carefully calculated as they crept past alien sentries, their hearts pounding in their chests. Bonner felt the adrenaline coursing through him. This was a dangerous game they were playing. The fear of capture loomed over them like a dark cloud, but the thought of victory pushed them forward. If they could disable the AI, they could turn the tide of the war and save countless lives. As they reached the entrance to the control center, Bonner paused, taking a deep breath to steady himself. "This is it," he whispered to the team. "We go in, disable the AI, and get out before they know we're here." Each member nodded, determination etched on their faces. They had come too far to turn back now. With one final glance at his friends, Bonner led the charge into the unknown, ready to confront whatever awaited them inside. The glimmer of hope ignited a fierce resolve within him. They would fight for their future, no matter the cost. As Bonner and his team finally reached the AI core, their hearts raced with anticipation and fear. They stood in front of a massive door that hummed with power, guarded by a swarm of alien soldiers. Bonner took a deep breath, knowing they were about to face the greatest challenge yet. "We're almost there," he said, looking at his team. "Remember what we're fighting for. We can do this!" With a fierce battle cry, Bonner led the charge into the room. The moment they burst through the door, chaos erupted. Alien soldiers opened fire, their weapons unleashing deadly blasts. Bonner quickly dodged to the side, feeling the heat of the shots whizzing past him. He shouted commands to his team, urging them to spread out and use the environment to their advantage. The humans fought back with everything they had, their ingenuity shining through. They used makeshift grenades, crafted from their earlier scavenging, to create distractions and disable alien defenses. The room was filled with the sounds of explosions and the clashing of weapons as Bonner and his friends engaged in close-quarters combat. Every punch thrown and every shot fired felt like a testament to their resolve. Outside the ship, they could see the sky lit up with orbital bombardments as the remaining human forces joined the fight against the alien fleet. The vivid visuals of fiery explosions contrasted with the cold metallic structures of the alien mothership. Bonner's heart swelled with pride. They were not alone in this battle. But just as victory seemed within reach, disaster struck. In the midst of the fight, Bonner's friend Marcus found himself cornered by a group of alien soldiers. "Bonner, I need cover!" he shouted, desperately trying to hold them off. Bonner's heart raced as he turned to help. He shot at the aliens, but the chaos of the battle was overwhelming. In a split second, Bonner watched in horror as an alien soldier landed a fatal blow on Marcus. Time seemed to freeze as Bonner screamed, "No!" The loss of his friend hit him like a tidal wave, a surge of grief and rage washing over him. Marcus had been more than just a comrade, he was family. This moment became the emotional anchor of Bonner's fight. Fueled by sorrow and anger, he charged forward with renewed determination. "For Marcus!" he roared, driving through the ranks of aliens with fierce intensity. His team rallied behind him, inspired by his bravery. They fought harder than ever, refusing to let Marcus's sacrifice be in vain. As the battle raged on, Bonner focused on the AI core at the center of the room. He had to reach it. He ducked and weaved through enemy fire, his heart pounding in his chest. With every alien he took down, he felt a surge of hope. They could win this battle, they could save their world. Finally, Bonner reached the core, a pulsating mass of energy surrounded by alien technology. He quickly set to work, following the schematics they had retrieved earlier. His hands moved deftly, inputting codes and disabling systems. The pressure was immense, but he was driven by the memory of Marcus and the fight for humanity's survival. As the core began to overload, Bonner felt a rush of triumph. They were about to turn the tide, but the cost had been high, and he vowed to honor Marcus's memory with their victory. The fight for their freedom had reached its climax, and Bonner was ready to make the ultimate sacrifice if it meant ensuring the survival of his people. As the alien AI shut down, a wave of confusion rippled through the ranks of the invading forces. The once coordinated movements of the aliens faltered. Bonner watched as their ships hesitated in the sky, and soldiers on the ground looked around in panic. "Now, this is our chance!" he shouted to his fellow fighters. Rallying together, the remaining humans surged forward, fueled by a newfound sense of hope. They pushed into the alien ranks with determination, their spirits high. The sight of their enemies faltering gave them strength. Each step forward felt like reclaiming a part of their lost dignity. Every blast of their weapons a message. Humanity would not back down. The battlefield was alive with energy. Humans fought side by side, using everything they had learned from the earlier battles. With improvised weapons and a fierce will, they engaged the remaining alien soldiers, who were now disorganized and scared. The tide had truly turned. Bonner led the charge, remembering the fallen comrades who had fought bravely beside him. He fought not just for victory, but to honor the sacrifice of those who had given their lives. The chaos of the battlefield felt different now. It was no longer a place of fear, but a space where hope and determination filled the air. With each alien soldier that fell, Bonner felt a weight lifting from his heart. As the last of the alien forces retreated, a cheer erupted among the humans. They had done it. They had pushed back the invaders and reclaimed their planet. The victory was hard-won, marked by the loss of friends and the scars of battle, but it was theirs. Once the dust began to settle, Bonner stood among his surviving friends. They were battered and bruised, but they were alive. Together, they reflected on what they had endured. They spoke of their fallen comrades, sharing stories of bravery and sacrifice. Tears mingled with smiles as they remembered those who had fought valiantly for their freedom. Bonner vowed to honor their memories, promising that their sacrifices would not be forgotten. Looking up at the stars, Bonner felt a mixture of sadness and hope. The night sky, once filled with the ominous presence of alien ships, now sparkled with the light of countless stars. He knew that humanity had faced a great challenge and had come out stronger. But deep down, Bonner also realized that the universe was vast and filled with unknown threats. "I'll make sure we are ready for whatever comes next," he said to his friends, determination shining in his eyes. The battle may have been won, but the war for survival in a dangerous universe was just beginning. The end of this fight marked the start of a new chapter for humanity, one filled with hope and resilience. As they celebrated their victory, Bonner felt a sense of camaraderie among his fellow soldiers. They had fought against the odds, and together they had triumphed. With new adventures on the horizon, he looked forward to what the future would bring, ready to face it head-on. The spirit of humanity had prevailed, and Bonner was ready to lead his people into a brighter tomorrow.